Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. I hope you guys are ready to strap in for another discussion on LEGO's very stupid price increases for 2022 because it is officially August 1st, which means that these price increases have taken effect in North America as of midnight. It is 1 a.m. right now, and I've just been going through the LEGO site a little bit to see what's increased in price because it affects both old and new sets, which I think is really stupid. So I'm on the new products page, as you can see, and right off the bat, I can tell that this Ferrari set is way too expensive. This is the only page I've looked at, and then we're going to go a little bit more through the site so we can talk about this. But right off the bat, the Ferrari set was announced as $400. Typically, these big Technic cars are $350. That's the price they've been for the last several years. Now it is $450. Like, what on earth? This is so freaking stupid. I cannot get over this. And I got a lot of stupid comments on my last video saying, like, trying to defend Lego and being like, oh, they need to, like, make more profit. Like, no, they do not. Like, I know that in capitalism, you think you need to, like, have ever growing profits. You don't. You really don't, Lego. And people are like, oh, but inflation is high. The US inflation rate is 9.1%. Increasing this set's price from $400 to $450, that's an increase of 12.5%. So don't try to pretend like this is Lego accounting for inflation or anything. This is just Lego being greedy. Because like I said before, all of these Technic car sets, they've been $350 for the last several years, and now the new one is $450. That is just a crazy jump no matter how you want to try to excuse it. I mean, I want to be clear, the Technic set price increase, like that doesn't really bother me to a huge extent. It's still kind of like a crazy jump in price, but I don't buy Technic, so it doesn't really affect me. It's just that, yeah, like those comments about inflation annoyed me because it's like Lego's a multi-billion dollar company. They don't need you to defend them. Like, you can acknowledge that they make products you like and still recognize that they're a company that's greedy and only cares about money, like every corporation on earth. What I don't like is when they try to pretend like they're doing us a favor, like in their press release for these price increases, when they were like, "Oh, we've protected you from the price increases by absorbing the costs," and I'm like, "Shut up! No one's gonna die if you make $1.8 billion in profit this year instead of $2 billion in profit." So, so that kind of behavior bothers me, and so that's the thing about inflation. Lego's not increasing prices according to inflation; they're increasing prices willy nilly based on how they can get more money out of you as a consumer. And I think that that is pretty clear with these sets, these three right here. So first off, we have the Heavenly Realms from Monkey Kid. This was revealed as a $180 set. It has now been increased to $190. I thought 180 was fine. I mean, like in a big set like this, like yeah, I thought 180 was fine, depending on like functions and stuff. Like I needed a closer look at it. Like I don't know if I would want to pay 180 for it, but for the finished size of the thing, I thought it was okay. So 190, again, that's not a huge difference, but it's just not something that I want to pay. I don't think that it needed to be increased, and them increasing it has like firmly pushed it out of my like buying range. Like I will not be buying that set now unless I can get it for like 160 or something. Because I would have at 180 probably eventually pulled the trigger, but now like I don't think I need it if it's going to be 190. I mean, I don't need any Lego set, but I don't think I want it anymore if it's going to be 190. And the same kind of goes for these city passenger trains. City passenger trains are, infamously expensive because they have power functions, they have large track pieces. So there's a lot that goes into them that makes them more expensive than the average Lego set. But I mean, come on, the last passenger train set in like 2018, like the one that I have in my city, that was a $160 set. This was announced as 180. It's now 190. The freight train was announced as like 180, I believe, and now it's 200. Those are not huge increases again. $10, $20. Like those aren't crazy, but I mean, and I mean this cargo train is still cheaper than the last one, which was 230. But the last one also had more stuff, like a lot more stuff, I feel like. And so again, like I just don't really love those increases because if I was on the fence about buying them, if I was like, okay, fine, maybe I would pay full price for them if I really want them. Now I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay full price for them because now I think that if they were on the verge of overpriced before, they are definitely overpriced now. And on the topic of sets being firmly overpriced now, I do need to talk about Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon. This is the last set I'll talk about in this like new section, and then we'll move on to exclusives. But this set was announced as being $140, which was too expensive. It's got like 1,000 pieces. It's got a decent number of minifigures. Obviously, a lot of budget needs to go into recoloring all of those Pro Gold parts. but $140 was a lot of money based on pictures. And I built the set. I have it assembled sitting right in front of me on my desk because I imported the Ninjago sets early from Europe. And I apologize for not doing reviews yet, but I've been really busy. I will get to them eventually. And by eventually, I mean like soon, like within like the next week or two. But that's besides the point. After building it, I still think it's a $120 set. It's a great dragon. I love the build, but it's a $120 set. It is not a $140 set. So for Lego to bump it up to 150 now, like why? It was already overpriced and now you're just overpricing it even more. And like that's what I mean. Like all of these sets that are on the edge that I would have bought at full price, I'm now not going to buy them. That passenger train for 180, it's like fine. If there was a good gift with purchase or double points, I would have caved and bought it. But at 190, no, because that $10, it does make a difference for me. And like that's the thing. I buy a lot of Lego sets. I throw a lot of money at Lego, and if their price increases are changing the behavior of like hardcore buyers like me to this extent, um, I think they're in for a rough time. I think they should be in for a rough time. I really hope that people stop buying Lego and that it forces them to lower their prices again. Because we're not getting the quality that we pay for. Like we just aren't. Like they're slipping up. Like color matching between stickers is bad. Print quality on minifigures is bad. A lot of sets and minifigures, especially in licensed themes, are coming out like half baked and half finished. And I mean, I'll elaborate that more in my reviews of sets like the new Sanctum Sanctorum. But I mean, like, Lego keeps increasing their prices, and it's like, what are we seeing for it? Like, there are some gems that like they're releasing still, but I mean, a lot of the time it's just like it's like their quality's dipping, but we're paying more. So like, what's the point of that? So I really hope that these price increases significantly change people's buying behavior, and I hope that that's a wake up for Lego because it's sets like this that really exemplify that for me. Is a great set. I love this. This is like honestly, I love this a lot more than I thought I would because I did not like the last Ultra Dragon. Um, but if it was $150, if I hadn't bought it early from Europe, I would not have bought it on day one. I would have waited and then bought it when it was 20% off on Amazon, or I would have bought it from someone on eBay. Like, and I don't usually do that. I usually buy direct from Lego, and Lego needs people to buy direct from them because they get a larger profit margin that way. So yeah, so I mean like this is, a complex discussion, and I mean this is going to be a very long video. um but yeah, like that's my thoughts on stuff like this. And I mean, like I do, like study like some of this stuff in school, and so I'm very interested to see what happens to Lego because of sets like this that are already overpriced or on the edge, and then are now like actually overpriced to the point where people won't buy them. All right, so now let's take a look at the exclusives page because I haven't taken a peek here yet, and I'm interested to kind of like react in real time to see what price changes have taken effect. Right off the bat, I'm surprised the Coliseum hasn't gone up. I actually not often, but I have said this in the past. Once you get to a super expensive like tier price level for Lego sets, sorry, like I said, it's really late. I'm not thinking 100% straight right now. Um, but once you get up to a certain price point for Lego sets, I think value tends to fall apart. So I think the Colosseum is pretty much a perfect example of that. Because for me, the Colosseum would be a good value if it was $400, if it was $500, or if it was $600. Just because when something is that expensive, when, yeah, a toy or like a collector's model is that expensive, it's really hard to judge value. And so yeah, so the Coliseum, if it had increased in price to $600, again, yeah, sure, I wouldn't like it because it's more money, but I don't think it would be a terrible value. So that's why I'm surprised they haven't increased it. The Loop Coaster, glad they haven't increased it, although technically they did because the leaked price for that was like 370, and then it was 400 when it was released. What else? Oh my god. Ouch. Are you freaking kidding me? Luke's land speeder has gone up to $240. That's crazy to me because this set, again, $200 UCS Star Wars sets, I always think they're a tad overpriced. I think every $200 UCS Star Wars set would be a better value at $180. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say such a blanket statement because I'm sure I'm not thinking of every single one, but like the Slave One, the Snow Speeder, the A-Wing, the Sky, or the Land Speeder, I almost said the Skywalker. All of those sets I think would be perfect value at $180. At 200, they're fine, but they are, Star Wars taxed. Putting this at 240 is insane. I thought that if they increased this, they would increase it to 220. But to put this at 240, which is like that's so expensive. And again, I've built the land speeder. I have it. I think that I don't think it's worth the $200. I think it's like a $160 to $180 set. So to put it at 240 is just, again, like that's getting into like crazy levels. But I also think that Lego is putting like these higher prices on stuff like Star Wars sets because they know that consumers will pay them. Oh, that's a shame. The iconic chess set went up from $50 to 65. Again, not terrible. I'd prefer like 60. But this set was a very good value at 50. I still think it's a good value at 65. What about brickheads? Of course, wouldn't increase in price because they're fairly standardized. I guess a lot of exclusive sets are out of stock. So let's go into the out of stock items and see, what's increased in price. Please load. Oh, this set's 20% off. I'm surprised by that. It must not be selling well. I do like that stadium, by the way. Okay, here's another perfect example. Mos Eisley, $400. You've got to be joking me. Again, $350 was too much for this set. Now it's $400. What about the Star Destroyer? Okay, the Star Destroyer stayed the same price. That's very surprising to me. I thought that would be up to $750. But yeah, Mos Eisley getting a $50 increase, that does not sit well with me at all either. Just for fun, before we move on from Mos Eisley, I want to see what percentage increase that is. So I've got my phone calculator pulled up. That's a 14.2% increase, or 14.3%. Again, inflation is 9% in the US. At least it was as of June. I don't know what it was as of July. But I know that inflation in the US, it might have hit like 12, or 11, but it is not 14. So again, that is just pure greed. And especially, again, you can see how it's affecting Star Wars sets, because Star Wars those are always the sets that are hideously overpriced. You guys know how much I hate Lego Star Wars' pricing, and I'm gonna hate it even more from now on if that's what they're looking like. And yep, the Republic gunship, same exact case. It was $350, now it's $400. I did hear about that because some of these price listings like leaked from what was it, Barnes and Noble. Ooh, the Daily Bugle's increased in price as well. That's also like not great. What percentage is that? That's a 16.7% price increase because it used to be a $300 set. At least I'm like 90% sure it used to be $300. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I remember it being $300, not $350. But yeah, like that's also 16.7%. That is too high of a price increase. I still think it's a good value. I would still buy it if it was $350, but knowing that you could get it for $300 like yesterday, it stings. And it doesn't sit well with me. I did not think that. I know I've been saying like 20% price increases, but I thought I would be exaggerating like a little bit. I can't believe that Lego's actually increasing prices on direct to consumer sets by 17%. I mean, Lego has always been an expensive toy. Like no one's debating that. It's always been very expensive. It's always been for, like relatively wealthy people in the economy. But to raise prices like this when they don't need to, it's just, again, it just reeks of greed. Yep, Ninjago City Gardens used to be $300. Now they're $350. Again, still a great set. Still 100% worth that money. Like that set could be $400 and it would still be a great value for money. So actually, I can't fault them increasing that because even when the Ninjago City Gardens came out, I thought it should have been a $400 set. So that actually probably bothers me the least out of anything here. Assembly Square went up from, what was it, like 280 to 300. Also, I thought this thing was retiring, so I can't believe it's still around. Or it was 270. So let's say it was 270. So let's say it was like a $30 price increase. That's like 11%. That's not crazy. That's not terrible. I can live with that. What else? Hogwarts Icons. This one, ouch. $250 to $300. Actually, for both of these. For all three of these. All three of these sets were $250, and now they're all $300. That is 20%, exactly. 20% for all of these sets. That's terrible. Like, I wish Lego should have increased them to like $275 max. But like, because that would have been a 10% increase. But to 20% increase them is just like spitting in the face of your consumers, I think. Because none of these sets are worth $300. You could make an argument for this. Actually, you could make an argument for all three. I have not built Home Alone yet. I have built these two. And you could argue that they're worth $300. Um, and I mean, I don't think actually, yeah, I don't think 300 is an insanely ridiculous price for them, but 250 was a lot better. I would not want to pay 300 for either of these, but it wouldn't be like highway robbery. Surprised the world map didn't increase in price. I got to be honest, because 250 has always been a good price for that set. I think at 300 it would still be good. The boutique hotel going up to 230 annoys me. Again, that's another one I own but haven't built yet. But from pictures, I did not like that it was 200. So I'm glad I bought it when it was 200. But 230, ouch. 270 for the NES. I wish I knew that this was increasing in price because I would have bought it last night. This is a set that I want because I love the TV, but I didn't want to pay 230 for it. I wanted to pay 200, and now that it's 270, I fear I might not get it, which wouldn't be the end of the world. I have a lot of other Lego, but I really want to see that TV in action in person. 270 for a $230 set, again, it's just insane. 230 should go to 250. That's a nice round number and it gets you more money, Lego, but like why put it at 270? Because I'm pretty sure the Tumblr did this too. The Ecto one, yep, $40 price increase. Don't love that. Space Shuttle was already 200, PlayStation was already 200. R2D2, another $40 jump because it's a Star Wars set. Whatever. The Globe going from 200 to 230. Don't love that because I thought that the Globe should have been. I didn't love the Globe for 200. I did buy it. Again, haven't built it yet. Um, but I thought the Globe, just based on photos, should be like 180. So for it to go to 230, don't love it. The typewriter going from 200 to 250 is again too much of a jump. Let me crunch the numbers on that really quick. But oh, I mean, well, that's 25%. I mean, I could do that in my head. I didn't need a calculator for that. 25% on the typewriter. That's crazy. I thought 20 was going to be the max. I cannot believe that Lego's increasing prices by 25% on sets that are already $200. So I knew the typewriter would increase in price. So I did buy this like 2 days ago because it's on back order and I've been waiting to get it on Lego.com. So I'm really glad that I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it because I thought that this was going to jump to 230. I do not know why one $200 idea set is going to 250 and one is going to 230. Like there's just no consistency in what Lego is doing here. And as for the rest of these things, this one had a $20 price increase. Again, not the end of the world. That's a pretty decent set, I think, whether it's 180 or $200. Medieval Blacksmith went from 150 to 180. Don't really think it's worth that. It was a good $150 set. Those two didn't increase. That one didn't increase because it's not selling. What else? I want to see what they did to the Titanic. They did not increase the prices of the Mario starter courses, which I thought that they might do, but I want to see what they did to the Titanic. Holy cow! They increased the Titanic by $50 too, up to $680, and that was already a $630 set. I mean, as far as percentages go, it's only an 8% increase, so we've definitely seen a lot worse on other sets. But again, like Lego has no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. Why is a $600 set getting a $50 increase and a $200 set getting a $50 increase? Like that's how you know. And I mean, like again, we know that Lego's greedy, but like this is like where the proof is because it's not based on inflation. Everyone's saying that it's because of inflation. It's not. If it was based on inflation, Lego would be raising prices by like 10 to 15% across their product portfolio. But they're not. They're just throwing out arbitrary numbers because they want to like experiment with what people will pay more for. So, I mean, the Titanic is a very popular set. It's been sold out like since it came out. I'm honestly surprised they didn't bump it up to $700, but I'm disappointed they bumped it up at all. Because again, going back to my point about how when you pay this much for a Lego set, like money loses all meaning. Like why was this $630 in the first place? What is the difference between this being 600 and 630? What's the difference between it being 630 and 650? So yeah, like the price argument does start to fall apart when you're dealing with numbers that big. Um, but I mean, like that's the thing. Like to me, the Titanic should have been a $600 set because that's nice and even. Like we already priced it at 630 because they figured, hey, we can milk an extra $30 out of people, and now they've risen it up to 680. Like, like I don't know. It's just dumb to me. Like just, I mean, I am in like marketing and stuff, and like pricing products is obviously a very big part of marketing. So I'd love to like be in the room at Lego while they make their pricing decisions, but it's just very odd to me. Diagon Alley, $50 increase. do not like that. Do not like that at all. This set was so perfect for $400. For $400, it was so perfect because each building was $100, and because you get 4 separate like mini modular buildings. Now each building is what, like 100. Well, 50 isn't easily divisible by 4, but like, yeah, I don't like this. This set was so perfect at $400. So what's a $50 price increase on 400? Yeah, 12.5%. So, oh yeah, because it's the same as the Ferrari, of course. Um, but yeah, I think they should have kept that one the same for sure. And actually, that's disappointing. I want to get a second Diagon Alley at some point. I do have a second Hogwarts Castle, just to keep sealed, like just for a rainy day, or like if it ever becomes really valuable in the future. So I guess I should have done that before prices went up. Because I thought about like buying a bunch of stuff last night before prices went up. Oh, they bumped up the Lamborghini to 450 as well, but the Bugatti is still 350. They rose this to 200. Oh yeah, sorry, but sorry, I didn't mean to lose my train of thought. I thought about buying a bunch of stuff before prices went up, but Lego didn't really say which sets were seeing a price increase, and I mean, I don't really want to spend $400 on a second copy of Diagon Alley right now, so I don't regret doing that. The Mini Disney Castle went up $5. That seems like fairly normal, but yeah, we've reached the end of the exclusives. So I'm just going to take a look at 1 or 2 like generic themes and then wrap up this video because it's already very long, but I mean, I think that this is an important thing to talk about. So I thought about going over to Marvel or Harry Potter, but I actually chose Star Wars because I heard that those diorama sets were going to be increasing in price. And I think that that rumor is true, but I'm going to be very sad if it is. Oh yeah, the AT-AT increased in price. It's now 850 instead of 800. This is another set that I definitely want in the future, but I refuse to pay retail for these big Star Wars sets. For Star Wars sets that are this big, my rule of thumb is always I want to pay retail minus like 250. At the very least, I got the Millennium Falcon for like $350 off. I got the Star Destroyer for like 250 off. And so I will not pay more than like $500 for the AT-AT. So I don't care if I need to wait like 3 years and get like an open box thing on like eBay or something, but I was never going to pay retail price for this. So even though I knew it would be increasing, I wasn't tempted to buy it last night. But again, that set shouldn't be 850, shouldn't be 800. That's the same price as the Millennium. This is now more expensive than the Millennium Falcon. So this is now Lego's most expensive set sold ever. No. Just no, because it shouldn't be $800. That was a $600 set. Throw on some Star Wars tax and make it $700. But $800 and then $850? Like, seriously, what is going through these people's minds? That's why I'm surprised they didn't increase the price on the Imperial Star Destroyer. And okay, they did increase the price on the Millennium Falcon as well. But again, that makes more sense. It's been out for like 5 years now. Like, sure. Throw in some, whatever. Like, what's the inflation rate on this then? 50 divided by 800, right? So 6%. Yeah, I'm sure there's been 6% inflation in the last 5 years. So that makes sense. But I mean, for the AT-AT, like, come on. Let's see retail sets though. I want to see what's happened to retail sets. The Razor Crest, that's gone up by $10. Not bad still. The set's good for 130, I think. Not perfect, but for 140, I think it starts to become overpriced. Boba Fett's Throne Room, glad that didn't increase in price because it's already overpriced. And, oh, I guess these 2 dioramas didn't increase in price. Or no, they did. The Dagobah one was $80, now it's $90. The Death Star Trash Compactor never should have been $90, but Dagobah, $90 is overpriced, but $80 was surprisingly well priced. And the Child is now $90. That one also doesn't bother me too much because I still think that's a good set for $90, and also it's Baby Yoda. Everyone's going to buy it anyway. But what about the other one? Yeah, the Death Star Trench Run is now $70. That is a load of BS. I cannot believe that set has been increased to $70 because this is like a $45 to $50 set if I've ever seen one. So to see it being sold for $70 now is crazy. And the same thing for some of these helmets. Why is this $70? Like, oh, and the Darth Vader helmet is now $80. These prices are just crazy. I'm sorry. Like these helmets should be $50, not even $60. And now they're $70. I really hope that 70 doesn't become the norm. I know that that's probably a pipe dream. I know that Lego's probably going to keep it at 70 now, but these helmets shouldn't have been 60 in the first place. So Lego is already making a healthy profit on these, especially because they have stickers. None of that stuff is, or some of the stuff on this helmet is printed. But like a lot of the details on these sets are stickers, And so for them now to be $70 and include stickers and like poor color matching and like all of this crap, that's just inexcusable from Lego, in my opinion. Like it doesn't get any lower than that. What else have they increased in price? Dark Trooper Attack went up another $5. That is another set that's like a $25 set if I've ever seen one. Now it's 35. I'm glad I got mine before it went up. What else? I heard that they were increasing the price of like the Imperial TIE Fighter, like the new one. That used to be a $40 set. I heard they were bumping it up to 45. If that's true, I still think, yeah, okay, yeah, they have increased it to 45. I still think it's a fairly decent value for money. 40 was like perfect for it, but 45, again, a $5 increase, it doesn't make me fuming like these other increases do. So I forgot to check percentages on, like the Star Wars sets, but for example, the Yoda, the Dagobah diorama, that was another 12.5% increase. So that seems to be like fairly standard for Lego, which again, I still think it's too high. I think if Lego wanted to increase prices by like 10%, then like I still wouldn't agree with it, but it would be better than this. Will increase prices from anywhere between 6% and 25 on random sets. Just doesn't make any sense. But I will not finish up. I want to take a quick look at Harry Potter. I want to finish with Marvel or Ninjago, one of the two. Um, but yeah, so Harry Potter. So this set has increased in price. The Chamber of Secrets went from 130 to 150. Um, Not the end of the world, but still not ideal. So that is a 15.4% increase. Too high. You should have moved it from 130 to 140. Why are you moving it up $20? Oh yeah, Hogwarts. This is another one I want to talk about. $70 increase. $70. This set was rumored to be $500 before it came out, or like 480. So I think it's kind of funny that it's now like become the price that was like rumored back like whatever 4 years ago. But when that set was revealed for $400, I still vividly remember scrolling or like loading the page on Lego.com and like crossing my fingers that it would be cheaper than $500. Because in 2018, I was a junior in high school. I saved up for this set by just like saving like $1 and $5 bills for a year, and then just like taking my jar of cash to the Lego store. Um, so I was really glad that it was $400. Um, but for it to be 470 now, like on the one hand, again, like I've said before, it's not the end of the world because it's older. Inflation is a thing. Like I'm not trying to discredit inflation. I'm just trying to discredit the people saying that Lego is raising prices according to inflation. But $70 for a $400 set is a 17.5% increase in inflation or increase in set price. Inflation is not 17.5% in the last 4 years. So like that's the thing. Like you could have put that at 450, you could have put that at like 420, you could have put that at like anything, but why 470? Like 470 isn't even a price that Lego has used before this day, to the best of my knowledge, but I'm pretty sure it isn't. So why didn't you just put it at 450? Stuff like that really bothers me. Hogsmeade went up $10 as well. Used to be 80, now it's 90. I always thought 80 was a tad bit pricey for it, but it has a lot of minifigures, so I was like willing to let it slide. But that is also, yeah, same thing as Yoda. 12.5% increase. Don't really think that set needed it. Oh yeah, Hogwarts Magical Trunk, $5 increase. $5, not the end of the world, but that set shouldn't have been 60 in the first place. It's only 60 because of all the minifigure parts. So I don't like that it got an increase because I thought that should have been a $50 set. And then other than that, I don't really think that Lego raised prices on other Harry Potter sets. All right, I'm gonna speed through a couple of other themes here, but I do want to like look at a bunch of this stuff. For Ninjago, right off the bat, the Crystal King is now $80. It was supposed to be $70. I don't like that. I mean, I again still think that set is worth the price for 80. I was surprised it was 70 when it was revealed. I thought that should be 80 and this set should be 70 when the sets and prices were revealed. But yeah, like that set was great, I think, for $70. Again, that's another one I've built. It's another one that I'm looking at right now. It is probably like my favorite Ninjago set, along with the Ultra Dragon from the new wave. And so for $70, this was a slam dunk. I'm actually glad I haven't filmed those reviews yet because now I can adjust the price differences. Because previously, I'll tell you right now, my review for this set would have ended with me going, absolutely go out and buy it. It is perfect. But now I can't say that because now it's too expensive. What else is there? $45 price point. That annoys the heck out of me. Like, $45, $35, all of those price points are pretty annoying to me. Because just make them 40. They're overpriced at 45. but it doesn't look like, ooh, Temple of the Endless Sea is 20% off on Lego.com. Everyone go buy it, because that is really great. That's a really great set for $80, so go buy it. Um, I don't really think they've increased other prices, though, as far as I can tell, for Ninjago. I think that the new sets and the Ninjago City Gardens, oh, that one went up by 5, but that makes sense because that's a popular set. I still think it's worth the money. I just hate these $5 price points, unless it's 75. But 65, 45, 55, they all just seem like really stupid price points to me. Okay, thank you for sticking with me if you're still watching, but I'm just going to wrap up with Marvel and Jurassic World because these are all like the themes that I spend the most money on. So far, things are looking pretty good. I heard the Infinity Gauntlet was going up in price. Yeah, the Guardians ship went up $10 from 150 to 160. That is a great set for 150 though, so I think 160 isn't the end of the world. And that is, yeah, that's a 6% increase. That's fine. Like, yeah, that's okay. That doesn't bother me. Rise of the Domo, glad that didn't go up in price because I also think that that's really good for $90. And Game Final, but yeah, that was already 70. I'm surprised they didn't put this up to 80. This is why the price increases don't make sense to me. This set at $70 is so absolutely perfect. This set, and I believe I have reviewed this, so I'll throw up a link to it if I have. But Endgame Final Battle is, I think, one of the best value for money Lego sets you will find on Earth. Between the minifigures, between like the balance in the build, between like something that looks good, something that plays well, and you get a vehicle. Like, I think that this set for $70 is like the best Marvel playset that they've ever done. And so when they're increasing prices, like just randomly, why wouldn't they just bump this up by another $10? Because at $80, it would definitely be a little bit overpriced, but it would still be a great set. So I don't understand why sets like this stay at the same price, because this has to be a hugely popular set. You know, it's got like Marvel's like most popular heroes and like their most popular villain. Um, so I'm really surprised that a set like this stays the same price while like so many other ones are just like jumping around. So that doesn't make sense to me. You think they'd be increasing the prices of their best sellers because they know that they'll still sell well. And yep, the Infinity Gauntlet did go up in price by $10. That doesn't make sense to me. This firmly pushes this set into overpriced. $70 was verging on overpriced, but this is now firmly overpriced, and I don't really I don't really know why they increased it because the Nano Gauntlet stayed at 70. I thought that they might bump up the Nano Gauntlet to 80 today, but they didn't, and I'm really glad they didn't. But it doesn't make any sense why these two would be different prices now. Other than that, I mean, those were like the only two things I actually wanted to check. This also doesn't make any sense. Venom became 70, Carnage stayed at 60. Like, this imbalance, this is irritating to me. Like, all helmet sets should all be the same price, and they should all be $50. I mean, well, they shouldn't all be the same price, but sets that are this close together should be the same price. Like, the Darth Vader helmet is way bigger, so fine, that should be more expensive. But why is Carnage 60 and Venom is 70? I'll tell you why. It's because Venom sells better, so they know that they can milk more money out of you if they just increase the price of Venom. And now let's finish up with Jurassic World because it is notoriously one of LEGO's most overpriced themes because of the expense of the dinosaurs. You know, because it costs more money to mold such large creatures. Giganotosaurus set, $140. Hell no. Absolutely not. That set would have been fine for 130, and I hate saying that. I hate saying that because the build is so small. But that set would have been fine for 130 if they had good dinosaurs. They do not have good dinosaurs. These things are totally inaccurate. They are totally like cheaped out and unfinished in so many different areas. Again, you can check out my review of it and see why it annoys me so much. But yeah, for 140, no, absolutely not. And then they didn't increase this one. Why didn't they increase? This is like the only affordable, relatively affordable. It's still a $100 plastic toy. This is the only relatively affordable Jurassic Park like display diorama set that they've made like this. And they didn't like bump this thing's price up by like $10. Again, like their pricing strategies just don't make any sense. Ugh. Oh my. This this physically pains me. This set is $100 now. This set is $100 now. This was 80. This was $80 yesterday. And now it's 100. That is a 25% increase on a set that should have been 70 maximum. And it would have been a tad overpriced at 70. I cannot. This actually, I think, is the most offensive thing that LEGO has done today. I'm really glad I checked this. because direct-to-consumer set increases are one thing, but bumping this sorry excuse for an $80 set up to $100 is just so insanely stupid. I'm never gonna get over this. I know I didn't talk about this because I never ended up making that like Jurassic World collection video. I still hope to make it this summer, but I mean, I have a lot of other stuff to do. But I really hate this set for $80. I think that I like the truck build. I like the dinosaurs. The minifigures are okay, but like this huge like structure build back here is just such a waste of parts and space. Um, that it's a bad $80 set. It would be an okay $70 set. It would still like not be a quality $70 set, but it wouldn't be like a complete ripoff for what you get. But to bump it up to 100 is just, that's asinine in every sense of the word. Um, what else? Pyroraptor set increased by $5. So did the plain ambush set. This set increasing by 5, that's fine. That could be a $50 set, and I would still think it's a good value. I've reviewed that too. This set going up by 5 bothers me. It should not go up by $5. It should have another minifigure in it for that price. This one also went up by $5, so I guess... Ooh, they've actually put a $5 increase on a lot of them. These two sets should not have gone up by even $5. I know $5 is not a big deal, but those sets should not have increased by that much at all. But yeah, I feel like that pretty much does it. I mean, we've taken a good look at the price increases across a lot of different themes. So, I mean, check out the price increases, compare them to what they used to be. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know that this was a super long video, but I wanted to do a really deep dive on this and, like, truly, like, examine this issue. And I really don't like what I see. I'm not pleased with what LEGO has done here because it's just so random and doesn't make any sense. Like, I really want to know what they were thinking when they did this. So yeah, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com, and I'll see you guys for more videos soon. Bye for now.